Yorkie and me rolling on. 'Cause a long day's run can be short on fun without Yorkie to help me along.
So hello guys, welcome to, I've done all my banners wrong, I'm so sorry, bear with me a sec. That's better. Right, so welcome to issue 52. I decided to do another live as I wasn't working today, and I'll be doing a live tomorrow as well, next week. So in this issue, I'm going to be building issue 52 of the Eddie Stobart, which is the front left mudguard. Really, really simple issue by the looks of things, but we will be able to do a little bit of speculation, which is quite good. So I'll start off with, we have a guest, same guest as last time. We have Natasha. How are you?
Hi, Penny. Hi, everyone.
So thank you for the moral support. And
You're welcome.
I'm still trying to convert you into building this model. So we have a quick comment before I start. We have got Kenneth. Hello and afternoon, everyone from Atlanta, Georgia. How are you?
Hello,
right.
Kenneth.
So let's, unfortunately, I've just said hello to Natasha. Now I'm going to shove her to one side. I do apologize.
That's all right.
So let's go camera down and we will get on with the build. So I'm just going to adjust my cameras. So I've got one of the suspension beams. My camera's gone all inside out. So I've got my beam, my chassis beam that I did in a previous issue. This is the one where the screw snapped. I can't remember the actual issue number, but we're going to need this, and we're also going to have. I've got this out because this I'm going to do a bit of speculation later on, which is going to be fun. So let's have a look at what we've got. So first of all, we've got 5201 front left mudguard, which is this. Nice piece of plastic. We've got 5202 front left mudguard flap. Now, for those of you that have been watching my Eddie Stobarts, you'll know that I've been modifying my mudguards, mud flaps, and this is what I've come up with. I didn't like the plain red one, so what I've done is I've repainted it over with a rubber black, gone over the edging with a gloss red, and then gone over the top bit with a semi-gloss black. I will be doing the same with the mud flaps here. However, I'm going to wait until I do the next issue, and then the issue after, I will modify these and do the issue, if that makes sense. So I think I'll just wait and I'll do both of them together, and that'll be easier. So those two pieces of plastic, the last piece we get is metal, and that's 5203. This is the front left mudguard bracket. As I say, that's metal. We get 3 sets of screws. We've got 4. Let me see if I can find the right screws. 3. Right, so we've got 4 1.2 by 4 mil PB screws. One of those is promising us to be spare. And then we've got DD03, which is 2.3 by 4 mil PM screws, one of which is spare. And lastly, we've got DD04, which is 3 1.8 by 3.5 mil PM screws. Again, one is spare. So we're going to begin with taking the front left mudguard 5201, and they've got it in this position on the magazine. Unfortunately, I haven't got the copies of the magazine on screen. We want the mudguard flap 5202. Check how they fit together. Pegs on the flap fit into the holes in the mudguard. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 holes there, and we've got 3 holes and 2 pegs on there. So obviously what's going to happen is we're going to have 2 pegs there, and those holes are going to line up with the 3 holes in mudguard, like so. So once that is in, we need to fix that in place with the DP06 screws, which is this packet. And I've not got my containers handy, so I'm not going to be putting my spare screws away today. Right. Just tipped 3 out, and I couldn't see the spare one. So this is a slightly flat. Oh, come on. I don't want to be spending most of my stream putting screws in a bag. This is one of the trouble with lives, is that when things aren't going perfect. There we go. Hold that open. Just drop the screw. That's why they give a spare. There we go. Right. So we've got our 3 screws. This screw head might be a little bit too big. Oh, that's actually okay. So 3 screws, 3 holes. I think I'm going to put the middle one in first. Yeah, that is too big. Sorry, guys. So let's get a smaller screwdriver head. I think that one's going to be a better one. It's because it's a small screw, I want a pointy screwdriver. Yeah. So it doesn't matter how big it is, but the end points and it fits into the what do you call the bit in the middle of the screw where the cross bit is. That's not going in very well either. Right. This is the trouble I always find with the small screws. They are extremely fiddly. Right. So that's gone in. I put that in almost fully, but it's actually quite a tight fit. So I think 3 screws on this is probably overkill. So already I can see a slight, I'm going to use the words potential issue, but it's not really an issue. If you can see where the screws are going in, it's actually going to go right on top of the part that I'm going to be modifying and painting black. So I'm just trying to get this. There we go. Right. So once that 3rd screw is in, I can go fully on this one. But I'm going to just, because it's plastic in plastic, I'm only going to screw until the resistance changes. If I carry on screwing, I'm going to split those bits of plastic. And then as we get close, just slow it down and feel. There we go. Perfect. Right, so that mud flap is in, so it's not going to move. So the potential issue I've got here, because this is all red, it's hard to see, but right across there is the part that I'm going to be painting black, which means we've got 3 screw holes are going to be sticking out. So I'm going to have to paint those screws as well. Now, obviously, I'm going to what was I going to say? I've forgotten. Do you know, I've lost it. Right. So yeah, obviously I'm going to probably have to remove that possibly to paint it. No, I think I can get away with not removing it actually. But what's quite interesting, you see here where the mud flap finishes, there's that strip that goes across. Now on here, don't know if you can see, you've got that bar that goes across and it doesn't actually line up fully at the top of the mudguard, of the mud flap. So we're actually going to be painting that top strip there rubber black. This bit in the middle there will be semi-gloss black, and the rest of that will be. So that's going to look rather interesting, I think. I think that will look really, really good. What do you think, Natasha?
Yeah, I think it would.
It's like, whereas this is one unit and then it's all put on, this looks like they've just put the flap on and then screwed it down, and it's not quite lined up at the top, and I think that's going to add a little point of interest.
Yeah, I think it would.
So Miss Southern Belle has said, Kenneth, I live in is that Marietta, Georgia? So we got two neighbors on the stream.
Oh, nice.
Right, so we've done that. That's stages 1, 2, and 3. Stage 4, we need to check the fit of the front left mudguard bracket. And using this little sticky out bit there as a reference point, we want that at the top. We want this little, it's like a little chair shape. It's like a chair on a stick. So you sit on there, but you see, and that's going to go out that way to the right. And we've got some various two screw holes and a post there, and that's going to line up. And you can see that that hole in the middle is off center, so you're not going to be able to put that in the wrong way. There's only one way it can possibly fit, which is that way. And then what we should have done is got our screws ready. You know, I never get my screws ready. I always forget. So we need the DPO4 screws, which is a 1.8 by 3.5 mil. And we'll get our first one ready. So this is a screw, although it's going through plastic, it's actually screwing into metal. So we're going to turn that over using our two screw holes, but do be careful, we have got plastic in the middle. So what I'm going to do, I'm just screwing that one in just a little bit loose, just enough to bite. And then I'm going to put the second one in, and getting the screws in isn't important. What's important is holding the parts on. So let's get this one in a little bit. There we go. So that's not moving, that's in perfect. So it doesn't matter if we're able to screw. If we screw those too hard, we do run the risk of splitting that plastic. Because this isn't moving, I'm really happy with that. So that's stages 1 to 5 of fitting the mudguard flap. Now we've got 2 more sections titled attaching the mudguard, and we want to get the chassis beam 4801. This is the first one that we did. It's the left, and the hard bit here, I think, is orientating it. Once you've got it orientated correctly, it's easy. Now the points, I'm going to show you, see if you can see the magazine. Right, so we've got this little bit, there's a little pokey out bit there, which is this bit. So that's pointing downwards. And this end, it kind of goes up at that end. We've got a wire at this end, but we've got wires down there as well. And then we've got this part there is at the top. So I can see that this is the correct orientation. So what we're now looking for is round about there, you can see an attachment point. And what we're looking to do, you see there, we've got a screw hole and a peg, very hard to see. The trouble with this, with it all being all red, it's hard to pick up the detail, but we've got, that isn't right. That is not right. So mudguard hole, is that right? That does look right, doesn't it? Because there's where the wheel is going to go in. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So that's where we're fitting, and you can see that this is now going to kind of become one with the chassis. So the next step, I think we can guess what it's going to be. Right, we need to get the DDO3 screw, and there's only one, well, there's one spare, but one screw. So let's get that ready, which means we're going to have to backtrack a little bit, because we know that as soon as we let go of that mudguard, it's going to fall off. So holding this mudguard on, little bit awkward. We've got to put the screw in there. So we need, this might be a little bit too fat. We need a thin screwdriver. So I'm just going to pop that in just enough to hold. And I can see that I run the risk of scratching the pieces as I put it in. So I'm going to switch screwdrivers to something. Let's try this one. So you can see that as I screw this in, I'm not knocking the piece. Whoops, didn't mean to drop all of that. So we screw that in. Now it's metal into, it's screwing 2 metal pieces together. So the order of the day is getting that nice and tight, but we want it so there's no movement. I'm not quite happy with that. I think I just need about another 1/4 of a turn. There we go. More than happy with that. So that is the piece complete. So this is where my speculation comes in, because where's this going to fit? Now, the reason I say it like that, I've got to confess, I did a bit of a test fit beforehand. Now, if we look at the cover, we can see that the wheel is there. There's going to be quite a lot forward of the wheel. So that looks quite right. I can't find the bumper at the moment. I've put it somewhere, but the bumper's going to go across there. So we have to have a wheel arch continuing down here. So it's going to come to about that height. Our wheel's going to go in. So there's going to be something going through there. The center of the wheel is going to be round about where those two holes are. And we can see that you've got some little posts there. So obviously something's going to attach there. This is where I'm kind of speculating, because the most obvious places to put it's not going to go in those two holes. The spacing is fine there, but unless, oh, of course, these go round, don't they? So it's my guess that we've got to put that in there. But you'll see that there's a round hole, but there's a little square housing, and these ends are square. So I think we're going to have to screw that into there. Then we can position this, and then we've got to move this post so that it lines up like that. What do you think, guys? What do you think, Natasha?
I think that's the only obvious place for it.
Yeah, that was where I was having a bit of a query, because I don't know if you just saw me. I moved these back, and then as I put these together, the spaces were fine. But can you see the square? You've got like a square surround.
Yeah.
And they weren't fitting in properly. And as I said, so we're going to screw one in however we want, because that's not fixed in there. That's free moving. So we'll screw that in. Then we can move this around, and then we can position. So it's going to be just an ever so slight bit of fiddliness. And then the only other concern I've got is, unless there is, well, saying that, I thought if that's attached by two metal posts, which these are only held on by a push fit connection, I thought, is that going to hold on? But in actual fact, it's not going to need to be that strong, is it?
No.
Because the wheel's going to be sitting here. It's going to be independent of the mudguard, the mud flap. This is just a piece there. So, yeah. So, right, let me get this in. So I've already seen next week's issue, and it's the same thing, but on the other side. And so we're going to end up with this on the other side, doing exactly the same thing. And then the issue after is some what I call greebly bits, which are these. Now, I think I can't see beyond issue 54. Yeah, 54. So I can't see 55 onwards. But I think 55 is going to be attaching these. It's going to be some greebly bits for this, and it's going to attach them. So we're going to end up with this. Is it that way? That way. Attached with some bars across the middle, and this will look like this, but on the other side. And now all of a sudden we've got a pretty good looking model, haven't we?
Yeah.
So that means that around about the end of the 50s, pushing into the issue of the 60s, I think we're going to finish this, and we might start looking at some putting the wheels on. That'll be interesting, won't it?
Definitely.
I think. So I now need to store this fairly carefully. That's on there quite solid. But as you can imagine, if I put this somewhere and it gets knocked, it's not going to last very long. So, yeah, odd looking piece, but you can see where it's going. So as I say, next week's issue, which I anticipate is going to be live, is going to be doing this again. The week after, I think, is going to be going back to recorded videos. But what I'll do is I will do these parts, and then I'll be modifying this. I think I might have to take that off because painting that with this, it's not got a lot of balance for painting. So we'll look at what I can do. In fact, we'll probably take it off there. We'll see what we can do with it. But I think those screw holes are going to have to, those screws are going to have to be painted as well. So we'll see how I get on. Right, guys. So thank you for everyone watching. Thank you for everyone who's going to be watching this after it's gone live. I don't know what happened, but I couldn't see any notifications come up. Plus the fact that it was an unexpected stream. So I do apologize on that part. So I'm going to bring Natasha back in. What do you think, Natasha?
Yeah, it's coming along already just by looking at it.
Well, it ought to. It's up to issue 52.
Well, yeah.
It's about 8. I can't remember if this is 120 issues or 130. But if it's 120 issues, we're 8 issues from being halfway there.
Well, that's not too bad.
Yeah, and I must admit, I keep saying my favourite build used to be the Root Master. It went together rather well. And I think this is in danger of being my best build so far. I hate saying that, being a bus driver, and I'm not a truck driver, but this might actually be the best build so far. The interesting bit is we're almost halfway there and we haven't seen any trailer yet. That's interesting. Now, I'm going to show you this. So this is my, if you subscribe from when it started, you get a certain number of free gifts, of which this is one. So this is a scale model. This is actually Dolly, not Twiggy, but it's the same truck. Now, you can see that we've been, oh, I've just seen something. This don't look anything like it, you know. Well, the colours are different. There's a lot more yellow on this. Right, so that's Dolly, which is the same vehicle. Now, if I turn it over, can you see what I see?
No.
What do you see between the two wheels?
Oh, the thingamabob.
I've just spotted a spare wheel.
Spare wheel.
Yeah, so I wonder if we've got more wheels to do. Now, the trailer looks like it's only got 4 wheels, but the trailer on the magazine looks like it's got 8 wheels. So that's interesting. So does that mean we've got 9 more wheels to come?
Probably.
Everyone knows how I feel about the wheels. They aren't my favorite. So, but yeah, it's looking interesting. I'm really, you know, but as you can see, look at the size difference. Oh, hang on. Look at the size difference between the cab, which is there, and the trailer. We're almost halfway through the build, and we've only done that much. We've still got all of that to do. So, are we going to get some large pieces to finish the trailer off? I don't know.
Could well be. I don't think they're going to do that separate, are they? The sides and all that, where you got to stick it all together, screw it all in.
No, I really don't know. I wonder if the side is actually going to be a fabric curtain rather than a piece of plastic that represents plastic. Because if you do it in plastic, I think they're gonna do it in pieces, which means you're gonna have little gaps. If you do it as a fabric, you can put the fabric on, you can stretch it, and it's going to be cheaper, so you can get a bigger piece. I don't know. Right, so that's it then. So thank you very much for watching the show, guys. Hopefully next week, I'm actually on holiday next week. And I'm really, really bad at saying no, but I'm desperately trying not to work next week. I was on holiday last week, and out of my 7 days holiday, I end up working 4 of them. That's how bad I am. I actually had more work than I had holiday. And I finished my holiday more stressed than when I began the holiday, which was the whole point of having the holiday. So, but that's working in an industry where they're absolutely desperate for staff for you. Just can't live without me, and it's not just me. I can't live without everybody. Right, guys. So I'm going to end the stream there. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you all next week. Dave Mac Builds, how are you? He just popped in to say, I just saw your update video today, and I'm really, really sorry to hear your news. So guys, if you want to just nip over to Dave Mac Builds and just give the guy a little bit of love with the likes. I know he really needs it right now. Unfortunately, Dave, you've come right in as I'm about to finish the stream, but in case you missed the beginning, that's what I've done, and that is what I think we're going to end up with in a later issue. Sorry, I can't. So that's one half, and I think next week we're going to end up with a mirror image of the sides, and within a couple of weeks I think it's all going to be attached, so it's getting there. So Dave Max says thank you, Penny. So no, it's fine. Listen, I got one comment to make about your videos. If obviously making YouTube videos isn't your number one thing in life, it shouldn't be unless you're being paid vast amounts of money for it. Obviously, we have things that happen in our life. You don't need to apologize for not being able to make the video. And if I was in your position, I wouldn't be making this video right now. So with that, I'm going to ask everybody pop over to Dave Mac Builds. It's DAVE space MAC space BU. I can't even spell. Look, BUILDS. Just find one or two of his videos and just give the guy a bit of love with a bit of like. I think he could really use it right now. So
I'll do that later then for him.
Please do. Right, guys. So that is me signing out. So take care, guys. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you with a live build next week, which is going to be practically the same as this one. So see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.